I thought so they can't be like, we're not talking like McDonald's or anything like that. We
have to do.
It's like a sit down.
Yes, not fast food.
And Waffle House doesn't count either.
Okay, fine.
Because hash browns, scattered, smothered, covered,
We're
diced, chunked.
like
Like that's
Chili's, Applebee's, Outback, Lobster, R.I.P., Cheesecake Factory, Red Robin.
And since there's no bread, you can't do the cheddar biscuits. The Red Lobster. And it's going out of business, so nobody can.
Can I do the bottomless shrimp?
It's not bread, as far as I know.
So I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless you get breaded shrimp.
I mean, coconut shrimp.
I have not had coconut shrimp in a long time. And I would really like to have some coconut shrimp.
Treat yourself to Bahama Breeze.
I've never been to Bahama Breeze.
Oh, I forgot to do the TV.
Should I go sit on the patio at Bahama Breeze?
Bahama Breeze. That is, I mean, if we're talking chain restaurant patios, it's up there.
It's up there.
I think we also need to clarify on this. There needs to be some certain rules. This needs to be like everyday people thing because like Ruth's Chris and Fleming's are chains.
But those are high. They need to be.
We're not talking high end. That like
medium level chains.
Right.
But Cheesecake Factory was.
Was it expensive? I never ate there.
It was expensive, but it's not like a steakhouse. So like no steakhouses except for Outback Steakhouse.
Right. Or.
I think it's just like
I
the
think
aura
J.
of
Alexander's counts. Can we do J. Alexander's? That's not like Ruth's Chris or anything.
Is J. Alexander's a chain?
Yeah, there's a lot of J. Alexander's.
I've never been to a J. Alexander's.
There were so many, in fact, that they said that there were so many. You have to put the calorie stuff. Chris told me this story. They started having to put the calorie info on their stuff, and so that's why they changed to Redlands. They changed the name of it to Redlands, so they didn't have to do that. And now somehow that rule doesn't matter, and they're back to being J. Alexander's.
Now it's just rude when someone puts the calorie information on a menu. Like if I'm ordering this, I'm doing it knowing. I remember when the Cheesecake Factory put the calories for the cheesecake. Song of the day was Doobie Brothers' "Listen to the Music," by the way.
For you, it was?
That was my song.
Okay.
I pressed play, listened to the music popped up, and it was a beautiful thing. You can't have a bad day when it starts with the Doobie Brothers. It is factual. What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, June 20th. Gonna be a good day. First official day of summer. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. John Roser still behind the glass, filling in for CJ this week. Coming up on today's show, it is going to be a fun one. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to the Kendrick Lamar pop-out show that happened in LA last night. It was streaming on Amazon Prime. Some NBA news and notes. The Pistons fired Monty Williams. Pascal Siakam will return to the Pacers. Some Grizzlies draft rumors continue as we get closer to draft day, which is now less than a week away. Teresa Walker will join us about 20 minutes in. The Tennessee Volunteers are 2 wins away from winning the College World Series. And then it is week 2 of our summer movie series, and we are revisiting a mid-2000s classic, Step Brothers. It's the Catalina Wine Mixer. We'll have a lot of fun. You know what we say, cowabunga.
I'll call you Dragon.
I'll call you Nighthawk.
Cowabunga.
Thank you.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Royal Flush Tour 2024. November 14th, FedEx Forum. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guests. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Produced by AEG Presents.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Look at the score. Look at the score. He does this.
Hey, but look at the bench, though.
Look at number 3.
Right before I walked in the locker room, Danny Ainge pulled me to the side and said, hey, Tony Allen, come here. Let me give you a little basketball etiquette. When you're down 40, do not do an in-game windmill. It's just disgusting for the game.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's number 1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If you look at it as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy official first day of summer. It has felt like summer for a minute, coming off of the day off yesterday for all of the GCM shows as we observed Juneteenth. And Roser, I was about to go to bed early last night. I was going to be so proud of myself. I was going to be in bed at like 9 o'clock. I was going to crack open a book and read and fall asleep. But then I remembered that the Kendrick Lamar pop-out concert was being streamed live on Amazon Prime, and I thought to myself, let's check it out for a second before we go to bed. And next thing I knew, I was watching Not Like Us 5 times, 6 if you count the processional on the way out. And just, Roser, imagine hating somebody so much that you write a song about them, that it becomes the song of the summer, that you then gather 17,000 people at the Forum in Los Angeles for a concert, and it's being streamed in 4K on Amazon Prime. And you sing that song about hating that person so much 5 times in a row, and you don't lose it once. And at half the time, Kendrick doesn't even have to rap because everybody around him knows every single word and is singing along.
Well, and not only that, you get Dr. Dre to intro it. You get Dr. Dre to do the intro.
Dr. Dre hits the I see dead people line, that place erupted.
By the way, Dr. Dre rapping live still sounds great.
Yeah.
He can't move really around the stage that well, like, because he's old, obviously, but like his voice still sounds great. There is a lot to take away from that show. Several thoughts on that show.
Drake is dead.
Drake will be.
I mean, he was, but now he's further, and I just don't know where he goes from here.
Drake will be fine.
Will he?
Yeah,
this was my favorite tweet of the night. Mike Bouvet saying this is like We Are the World, but for hating
I don't
a
think
guy.
we could post my favorite tweet from the night.
I have a couple to read. There were many a tweet, some that are unshareable, some that are. It was one of those nights on Twitter/X where you're like, this is why this app still exists.
Yeah.
It was hit after, and when I woke up this morning, it was my entire timeline was still about Kendrick last night.
Yeah, no, mine is too. Mine is too. And I don't know if some of this is paid for or whatever. There's been some of that Kendrick Drake stuff going around that all the bots paid for, the streaming bots for Not Like Us and everything like that. But it's also
but it's undeniable that 17,000 people were in that building last night, and everybody seemed connected into it.
All these artists and the record labels that are big, they all pay for bots.
Yeah.
They all pay for streams.
It's the farm.
Yeah, right. It's how it all works. so many things to dissect from that. One, Mustard set before.
Yes.
You don't realize how many hits Mustard has until he's up there letting them just go and go and go. Also learned, as he said on stage, Ty Dolla $ign taught him how to make beats. So thank you, Ty Dolla $ign, because Mustard is, absolutely one of the best hip-hop producers that we've had in a long, long time.
Yes.
I think the only thing that rivaled Kendrick's pop a couple of times with the Not Like Us pop, Tyler, the Creator, doing the two songs. Tyler is crazy famous.
Yes.
Like popular. Like he does.
Oh, yeah.
He could fill that arena too doing the solo
I would agree
shit.
with
Like
that.
he can fill all the arenas. DeMar DeRozan wearing the Eazy-E shirt is
DeMar
amazing.
DeRozan
Because he's mentioned in the song, obviously.
And Russell Westbrook
Yes.
being on that stage last night, bringing the NBA into it. A USC guy and a UCLA
You're
guy
right.
coming together in harmony. A lot of people coming together in harmony during Not Like Us. But to see both of them, there's Russell
This
Westbrook
is-
having the time of his life. I have never seen Russell Westbrook have more fun.
He is having so
if he
much
brought
fun.
this amount of joy to his game, like he'd be the most fun player to watch in the basketball world.
And-
but he was just, look at him.
Oh, no, and here we're about to get it. We're going to get it. Oh, because there's YG hugging DeMar DeRozan. By the way, YG has one-on-one outfits. The man looks like he's wearing like Alfanis on his feet, but they're probably like leather something else. But look at that, YG and Russell Westbrook.
Well, you're just watching it live, and you're like, "Is that that's Russell Westbrook?" And then you're like, "Is that that's DeMar DeRozan?" And with DeMar DeRozan, it feels especially pointed because DeMar DeRozan put for the Toronto Raptors,
and he's mentioned in the song.
and he's been exactly.
I'm glad D-Rose came home. Y'all didn't deserve him neither.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it just feels like one more, like just when you think Drake cannot possibly be kicked one more time.
Yeah.
It's another lap. Some call it a victory lap. I think it's just a lap because I think Kendrick Lamar will just keep on going.
Well,
I think this song has gone from being like the song of the summer to the song of the year.
Yeah,
Hands
is.
down.
Yeah, I think it's past like that.
It's history.
To me,
This is now
like that was
history.
the song of the year. But yeah, no,
That
this
concert
is,
last night was hip hop history.
No, it was. I think I think another thing for Drake that's bad is that if you listen to Drake, the Family Matters song that was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
the red button song or whatever. One of the lines in it is who bang a set. YG, because him and YG have hits together. They got "Who Do You Love" and "Why You Hatin'." Those are two songs that Drake and YG have done together, and they've done more. But YG was there all night, and that's basically Drake is seeing that, and he's taking notes on who's there. He's trying to put a list together.
Like, what do you even say if you're Drake's people?
He'll probably put a picture of a receipt on Instagram. I'm sure on an Instagram story, Drake probably will. It also made me think with YG. I think everybody likes YG.
Yeah, he seems likable.
No, but nobody has heard YG and then been like, "Why? I don't like YG."
Oh, Drake did post on Instagram.
What did he post?
It's just on his story, and it's
Was
a
it a
picture of
picture
him
of-
in another pair of very big pants, and it just says Summer League.
Okay, whatever. The man is the king of the Instagram post.
He is.
No, it was cool. Like the whole thing.
It was wild. It was like the perfect way to round out Juneteenth. And it was a celebration, of course.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was a hateration.
It
like,
was.
This is what it was.
And I think this is a note to hip hop artists for concerts. Because I've always said rap concerts go one of two ways. They are either amazing or they're terrible. Like there's never been a rap show that I've been to. I'm like, it's all right.
This was amazing.
It's okay. It's either amazing or it's god awful. And the reason, and Kendrick showed you how to do it. That man had no backing vocals.
No.
Like it was not like the album playing or the song playing with his vocals on it. He was doing all of the vocals to it. So when he didn't or got out of breath, there were no vocals playing. More rappers. Learn how to do that.
Or when he was out of breath, or when he stopped, you hear the entire arena, which is cool, which is when you feel the entirety of the impact. Some of my favorite tweets or X's, I don't know what the hell we call them now. The We Are the World one was top notch. Some guy named Aaron said that J. Cole got to feel like the teacher that was the runner-up on the Challenger space shuttle. which feels about right. Like, J. Cole made the most impressive business decision of anybody. Like, name J. Cole Executive of the Year, because that's someone that I would want to be running my business, because he's running his business, and he knew that he wanted nothing to do. He dipped his toes in, and he was like, no, I'm out. I apologize.
A shout out to what apparently Schoolboy Q told him at his Dreamville thing. Like, you need your shrapnel. This is not meant for you.
Right.
This is not about you. You're just going to be in the way if you decide to stay in. Just protect your peace, protect your chi. Don't let it mess up your chi. It just let's get on out of the way. Who all was there?
Well, LeBron was there, and one of my favorite tweets was that Bron probably tried to run on stage, and Savannah grabbed him by the collar. She was like, "You will not be on that stage."
So LeBron, I'll say, LeBron has long been a Kendrick Lamar fan.
Yeah.
There are old Instagram posts years and years ago of LeBron, like when Damn came out, or like Untitled Unmastered. Like he has always liked Kendrick, always loved Kendrick's music. But Drake is your boy too.
Right. It's a tricky spot.
I don't think you can't go to that. If Drake's really your boy, you can't go to that. Or is it just because you're LeBron?
And you're in LA.
I'm going to be where what the cool thing is.
I was going to say, you're not going to miss the biggest event in LA.
Which, it's the biggest event in LA. It's the biggest.
And it was a Wednesday that felt like a Saturday.
And LeBron will do anything that makes him try to look cool.
Of course.
Which means I can't believe Drake wasn't there either. That's exactly what he would do too.
Somebody said Adonis was watching it on his iPad in the bathroom.
Rick Ross being there.
Rick Ross was there.
James
The Weeknd
Harden
was there.
The Weeknd. James Harden was there.
Harden was there. Io Debris was there. I saw
Kobe
her pop
White
up.
was there.
Kobe White was there.
Kobe White was there.
I'm trying to think if I saw anyone else. Those were the mains. Anyway, it was just such an like, I knew it was going to be great. I knew I wanted to make sure that I went back and like saw the highlights from it, but I had no idea that it would turn into what it was by the end of the night. And like, you're just staring at your TV yelling again, and then he does it again, and then you're like, maybe he'll do it again, and then he actually does it again, and you think, oh, I'm gonna joke and say maybe he'll do it a fifth time, and then he actually does it a fifth time, and by the end, like, everyone's on stage, they take the group picture, and it was one of the funniest like collective viewing experiences, all circling around hating a man.
No, absolutely. And I beat the Tupac line. He changed one of the lines in Euphoria. He comes out with Euphoria, Kendrick Lamar does. He changed one of the lines, and he said, "Give me Tupac's ring back, and I might give you a little respect."
Yes.
And it's like, oh, okay. So he's still like, maybe he really does have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5 like still in stock. He's got more stuff ready to go because he know Drake probably is not going to back down. And he's going to come back at some point. So
it was very much a West Coast, Best Coast kind of night. And I love that Kendrick did it while wearing glasses.
And here's the thing, too. His set list, you look at it, he didn't even, like, you realize he's got more than that.
Of course he does, but he played Not Like Us 5 times.
Yeah.
Euphoria, DNA, Element, All Right, Swimming Pools, Money Trees, Win, and that's when J-Rock came out. King's Dead, 616 in LA, Collard Greens, that part, both with Schoolboy Q. King Kunta, Mad City, Humble, Like That, and then Dre came out for Still Dre. California Love is one of the most like universally loved songs to watch being performed, and it was great. And then Dre does I See Dead People, and you go into Not Like Us, and that takes up a lot of space.
Yes.
Like, if you're going to do it 5 times.
It did.
It's going to take up the rest of the time.
It took up a ton of space. There's a video of Jay-Z and Kanye doing Paris. In Paris, 11 times in a row, and
Incredible.
it's like 45 minutes.
Oh, I legitimately at that point like wanted him to keep going.
Yes,
I thought it would be so funny if you
going.
set
You
some
just
kind of
gotta
a
keep
world
going.
record for the most times you sing one song over and over and over again.
Yeah,
like,
no.
how much do you do it 69 times?
Yes.
69. Do it 69 times.
69
that would've been
times.
incredible.
What if that was
Maybe
the
next
entire
time.
show? They just played Not
It'd
Like
be
Us.
so funny.
69 times.
Everyone would love it, and the audience would sing along just as emphatically. Chris walks out of his bedroom door this morning, and what does he say? OV ho. Like, that's how we started our morning, and that's how a lot a lot of people will do it. So
one
that
of
was
the
very,
OVO
very
people
fun.
has posted on Instagram with a Drake wearing a sweatshirt that says revenge.
Oh. I can't wait.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm locked in for that one.
Money Trees is awesome too. I
Yeah.
would say because I Money Trees is an amazing song.
Yes.
I'm glad he's at Money Trees.
Yes. It was kind of an eventful day where we were off with some sporting related news. Monty Williams got fired, which felt random as hell.
Least shocking thing ever, though.
Yeah, but I thought it would happen far earlier. Like, if you were going to do it, why did it happen yesterday, a week before the draft, and now your new president has to hire a GM and a coach, and the draft is next week, and you have the number 5 pick? It just feels like a lot for a team that is struggling And every time I got on X yesterday before, wow, I think that's the first time I've called it X organically. Every time, Elon, it's working. Every time I got on Twitter before all the Kendrick stuff later on in the night, it felt like it was somebody sharing the tweet about how the Celtics won more games in the postseason than the Pistons won all season. And it was the Celtics winning 6 in the postseason and the Celtics winning 16 games in the postseason and the Pistons won 14 games all season. We will never forgotten the 28-game losing streak that the Detroit Pistons had to suffer through this season. But for Monty Williams, I'm with you, unsurprising, but he is working this contract system because he now will get paid $65 million to not coach the Pistons because, in case people forgot, he signed a record-breaking $78.5 million contract to go to Detroit last year. And then that's combined with the $20 million that he's still getting paid by the Phoenix Suns to not coach the Suns. So overall, that is $85 million to not do anything. That is the retirement plan that I strive for. I had one day off in the middle of the week, and I'm like, I could be a retired housewife. I could do this life. I did my laundry and folded it in the same day. Do you know the last time I did my laundry and folded it in the same day?
I don't know the last time I folded my laundry.
Well, you know what the worst part about your laundry is when you get to the end and you have the socks, and you're like, I'll just come back to the socks.
Oh,
no. I just hate doing the socks.
The socks stay in the dryer.
But I did the whole thing.
Socks,
I was so proud.
Socks stay in the dryer.
If I had Monty Williams money, I could do my laundry and fold it immediately every single day for the rest of my life.
I have totally new lady kind of seeing. She has totally judged me for she's asked me about my laundry, and I'm like, look, I'm a guy. I'm a single guy. So, like, look, I'm not.
I'm also, I act like a single guy at times by how I do my laundry. My
I feel
husband
like I
would love
get
for me to
judged.
fold my
When I
laundry
told her,
more.
she's like, do you hang up, like, all your clothes? I was like, not all of my clothes, no. I was like, she was like, so what do you, I was like, sometimes the clothes just stay in the dryer. And, like, when I get out of the shower, it's like I'm just boom, boom, boom. I grab it out of the dryer. I'm like, that's what I'm wearing today. Wow. And I totally get judged for that. And I would
judge you, too.
Yeah, I do. Jessica, do I dress like a person that cares really about fashion?
You're right.
Yeah.
That's why I rent my clothes. This is a rental. I will roll it up, throw it back into a bag, and send it to somebody else who is their problem.
You rent your clothes?
Yes. How do you not know this? I feel like everyone knows this by now.
Why
this
do you
is a rental.
rent
I don't
clothes?
own this.
What if you spill something on it?
It's insured.
How much do you pay for renting clothes?
It's like $250 a month.
Holy crap!
Yeah, but it's like I get 5 orders. I get 4 orders of 5 pieces, so it's 20 pieces of clothing for $250 a month.
Do you wear all of it?
Yeah, for the most part.
What, just for
I
the shows?
actually have 2 rental services. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
Just for the shows?
Shows, during the season, for games, for vacations. I'll wear things around. I rented a pair of shorts. Like, I just went to Denver. Everything I wore in Denver was rented. Yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, $250 a month probably is
pretty good. No dry cleaning.
Yeah, it's also.
I don't have to wash them.
It's not that bad.
I mean, like, my staples are still, like, this white undershirt is mine, my pants are
I would have a
mine.
hard time doing this because everybody just makes tight clothes now. That would be a hard thing for me because I'm not wearing tight clothes.
Yeah, the only problem is I'm like a very basic size, so a lot of things fit me. So some people who are like really tall have problems. People who are like really tiny have problems. I'm like Goldilocks of sizing, so things fit like just right. Like things are going well in this department.
Are you Barbie?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Because Barbie's not realistic good sizing.
This is true.
Barbie's tough.
Barbie's tough.
I'm a long way. Barbie's got legs that I dreamed of when I was like 10 years
Barbie's
old. I was
tough.
like, one day my legs will be that long. And
When Margot Robbie discovered she had cellulite in the real world, it was
horrifying.
a horrifying moment for her.
everybody.
Yeah.
Horrifying. All right, we have to take a break because we got to get to Teresa Walker, but we'll ask her about some of this NBA stuff. Also learned yesterday, Pascal Siakam intends to sign a new contract with the Pacers, 4 years, $189.5 million. That is the first deal under the new free agent rules where teams can negotiate with their own players. It still won't be official until July 6th. But we are into free agency.
We are into free agency.
And I was remembering the Marcus Smart trade last year.
Yeah.
That was our big pre-draft moment. Happened on June 23rd. It's June 20th.
Oh.
What's the first big domino? I'm not counting Pascal Siakam re-signing with the Pacers, although that's great for them.
Yeah. I mean, there are rumors out there with the Grit. I don't know if it's going to be for a player like that, but there are. I mean, as far as draft trading is possible, if Donovan Clingan doesn't go 1, it appears that there's smoke there, maybe a little bit of smoke. We'll see.
Interest.
They don't talk, so it's like, who knows?
Nobody knows anything.
When I hear people talking about Grizzlies intel, I'm like, they don't say anything. So like, you're not getting this from them. So that's, where I'm kind of like,
As the words of Teresa Walker, who quotes others, she always says, the offseason is lying season. So you never know who to believe. We'll talk to Teresa Walker about all that, plus Vols in the College World Series. Big weekend coming up in Omaha after a quick break. Omaha!
Great first segment, Dragon.
Pew! Thanks, Nighthawk.
Shall we talk about our favorite NBA Finals MVPs? Number 3 is a little bit of Canadian history because it's the first and only NBA championship that the country as a whole has. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard's second Finals MVP. I still get my little heart warm even thinking about it, and I was there watching every game. IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
The Indiana Fever have to do something. You cannot let her get hit like this.
No.
Because it's not just you're allowing people to think this is okay. It's you're allowing her to think that you don't have her back.
Yes.
Like whatever you think of her on a personal level, she is wherever you're going. If you're a member of that franchise, wherever you're going, it's where she's taking you.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. We have another edition. This will be the third edition of the Debate Club. You guys are going to sell a shoe to Mr. Bennett Doyle, our producer over here.
Oh, yeah.
I saw these.
I've seen these.
I saw these on social media too.
It's the perfect house shoe.
I know, right?
Like, yeah, it's not even a house shoe. I bet you they're really comfortable. You know, you heard of unisex. This is unifoot. Oh my God.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
All right, welcome back. It is Thursday. That means it's time to catch up with one of our favorites, the Queen, Teresa Walker herself. Teresa, how are you doing?
I am doing good. It's really weird that I have a professional golf event in the state of Tennessee, and it's not the one in Memphis.
Yes.
Live Golf is in Nashville. And when they say Nashville, and they had a big party last night in Nashville, but it's actually technically College Grove, which is a 15, 20-minute drive from my house. So it's like, I really appreciate them putting this about as close as they could put it near my house. So it's the drive that I take my son was in middle school. It's literally down from the Page Middle School area, the Grove, and strangely enough, Live Golf, a Greg Norman design course. It's like, yeah, it's just crazy weird.
That's nice of them to make it convenient for you. I also saw that Bryson DeChambeau was nice enough to let you touch the U.S. Open trophy yesterday. How did this moment happen?
Wait, he's just still carrying that around with him?
He's just carrying it around, letting anybody who wants a chance to touch the U.S. Open trophy touch it.
Do they get to keep the trophy, or do they have to give it back?
That is a great question. He sounds like he's planning on taking it with him everywhere for the foreseeable future. I mean, and literally, he came into the media center, parked it beside him, did his interview, and then as he left, he made sure that everybody in the media tent touched that thing. I was ignoring it, okay, because it's like, you know, and he brought it. He's like, come on, you want to touch it? And it's like, well, what the heck? I have posed with Brandt Snedeker and the Claret Jug I think it was the Claret Jug from the British Open. I've got that picture somewhere. David Poyle, when he was GM of the Predators, when they won the Western Conference, he did a news conference before the Stanley Cup final. And once the cameras were turned off, he made all of us come up and pose with him and the trophy and get individual pictures with the Campbell Bowl. So it's like I'm halfway toward a golf Grand Slam myself. I just need to get, I guess, a picture with Masters jacket and the PGA Championship. So I'm halfway to a Grand Slam. And the Stanley Cup, it has come. I've got a picture with Festus Ezeli and the Larry O'Brien Trophy, for goodness sakes, when he brought it to one of them to Vanderbilt for SEC Now before a football game. So it's like I'm collecting. I've got a picture with an Olympic gold medal. I think I need to do an Instagram post later today with all of my pictures with trophies, the most bizarre trophies. And it's like, I've got friends who like, you can't wear the T-shirt till you run the race or ski the run. And it's like, but it feels like this is a separate thing because the Stanley Cup that's one I want. I tried. The line was too long before the Stanley Cup final in 17. And when they bring it to town, they take it to the TV and radio stations. I'm not one of those. So it's like, I've got to get busy, my friends.
I always wanted to, when the Avs won the Stanley Cup when I was a kid, they would have the Stanley Cup trophy on display at like various bars, restaurants, wherever in town, and you could go stand in line. And I never did it. And I always regretted not having a picture with the Stanley Cup. But Teresa, maybe you can go to Edmonton, because I'm convinced maybe Edmonton will do what only one team in hockey has done before. That game was fun. I actually watched the last game between the Oilers and the Panthers, and I was like, this is what playoff hockey's all about. This is what I wish the Mavs could have done with the Celtics to at least create a little added interest. Obviously, Panthers are still up 3-2. But speaking of all the trophies that you have pictures of, I know you've just done everything. Like, you're one of the most interesting women in the world because you have covered sports in the way that you have. And I was curious because Willie Mays passed away at the age of 93. And I wanted to ask, did you ever have the opportunity to meet Willie Mays at any point in your career?
I did not, but one of my AP BFFs and incredible friend and colleague, Janie McCauley, who covers baseball in San Francisco, she met him. And her second daughter is named Lily. And if I remember correctly, Lily was born on Willie's birthday or something like that. So it's like she named her daughter Lily in nod to Willie Mays. And I saw the greatest memory that somebody had. It told the story of Willie Mays, how he wasn't going to be somewhere because he was supposed to be at Rickwood Field. And it was about a game involved, and it happened in Memphis, guys. This is the Memphis tie, that they were playing each other. Willie was still young. Satchel was Satchel, and he hit a home run off of Satchel the first time up, and Satchel said, "Next time, little boy, you're going to see 3 pitches." And he told the third baseman, "You remind me when he comes back up again." Well, when he was in the on-deck circle, the third baseman said, "Hey, Satch, there he is." And when he came up, he goes, "I'm going to send you 3 pitches, and then you're going to go sit down." First two, and they're all going to be fastballs. And Willie's like, well, I know what's coming. I'll get one of them. On the third pitch, Satchel headed to the dugout and struck him out. The ball. So it's like, I mean, that's who, Satchel Paige, Willie Mays. I love that Major League Baseball finally brought their stats, the Negro League stats, into it should have been a long time ago, but it's like better late than never. But I would have loved to have seen Willie Mays play. And in fact, go find a copy. There's a scene. He was in Bewitched in the 60s. And Darren asked Samantha, wait a minute, is he? And he's like, the way he plays? Of course he is. And he looks at his watch and he's like, I got to get to the ballpark. Boom, disappears, intimates that he was a warlock because he was such an incredible player.
There are a lot of people that would tell you that, like, pound for pound, Willie Mays is like he's the best baseball player that has ever
walked the earth. Yeah.
I mean, he's known for that incredible catch, but I mean, he was just what he did. He came along at a point where he didn't have to do what Jackie Robinson did, and he wasn't chasing the home run record like Hank Aaron, and it was one of those things that he was just so amazing to watch play that I think that people just fell in love with him. And I think he kind of timing is everything in sports and in life. And I think, say, hey, Willie Mays, I mean, and that smile. I mean, he and Ernie Banks were baseball players that you loved because they just played the game with a joie de vivre that was contagious.
It's the perfect way to put it. Who has the joie de vivre today? Not just a baseball, but just sports, period. Like when I say most joyful athlete that we get to watch, who comes to mind for you?
Well, I hate to say it after reading Sally Jenkins' column yesterday in the Washington Post, maybe it was yesterday or Monday, where she took a flamethrower to him. But Bryson DeChambeau is having the time of his life right now, right? I mean,
I guess. I can't do it, Teresa.
I know. Trust me, I get it.
I'll still take Steph Curry, 10 out of 10.
I do wonder if Bryson I do kind of think that sometimes I've heard this about some other famous athletes too. They know when the cameras are on.
Yeah.
Shocking, isn't it? We've heard that about.
But who knows? Bryson,
athletes.
maybe he's not that way behind the scenes. Like maybe he's changed. I don't know. Like
maybe he's just a happy-go-lucky guy
I've never
now.
really been around him. I've seen him play golf here in Memphis a couple times, and
it was at the peak of when he was.
Yeah, and I don't enjoy it because he
disliked.
takes forever, and combined with it being August in Memphis, like, yo, man, let's speed this up. It's 110 degrees out here.
There's nothing joyful about that for me.
This is not fun. Let's move this along here.
Giddy up and go.
I do like in spirit of, we were talking about the Kendrick Lamar concert last night, Teresa, that maybe, did you watch?
I did not.
But you've seen the highlights.
I've seen highlights, and I mean, it's still, everybody's still talking about it today on social, so impossible to miss. And I'll just say this, and before we segue, when these diss tracks were coming down, I got back into Fleetwood Mac because I saw a tweet, it's like, they can have their fights and their diss tracks today, but Stevie Nicks wrote a diss track and made her former lover, Lindsay Buckingham, perform it on stage with her.
Yeah.
Go listen
it is
to
one
Silver
of the greatest.
Springs.
Silver Springs
It's one of the greatest performances.
It's one of the greatest
time.
live performances of all time.
Yeah.
She is staring
Dead
daggers
into
through
his
him.
eye. Oh my God!
I
You
mean,
can
it
feel
is, yes.
her like she's like homelandering his brain. If you watch The Boys, you get like lasers through his face. But I was gonna say, Teresa, that's one of my favorite beefs of all time.
That's not joy, though.
No, that's not joy. But I was gonna say Kendrick brings hate into a place that is so joyful. Like everyone has been saying, like hate looks so good on this man. He has never looked happier, never looked better, all because he hates Drake so much. And I think players who play with a level of hate and like just like a little oomph behind it can still be joyous. I think of Ja. I think of Anthony Edwards. Like players like that who operate not just in like the sheer like, hee, this is so much fun, but more in like, I'm so good, I'm gonna make a point every time I play about someone or something or a grievance that has been filed and come back, and it can be a very joyful experience. Not all joy has to be happy. There can be hate in joy too.
And MJ, I mean, think
and MJ,
about
yeah,
it.
of course.
I mean, he wanted to drain your soul. Larry Bird. I mean, now Larry Bird. I'm not sure how much joy was there, but MJ. He's killing an opponent, knocking threes down. Even he couldn't even believe that he was knocking them down and doing the shrug.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I need to see a little bit more joy from Luka, though. I mean, he has moments where I'm not sure he's joined those together. No. And I think that
it's a European thing.
Giannis is the one I think of.
Giannis is joyful.
Giannis smiles like a lot. Mm-hmm. He tells dad jokes in press conferences.
Oh, we have one right here. Gigi Jackson is straight joy. He's like unbridled, childhood joy.
I think Gigi just doesn't know any better yet.
I don't know. Time will only tell.
We'll see as he gets older.
I know, he is young.
Like Jaren, he reminds me, Jaren was that way as a rookie. Jaren was
even
so
Gigi was at another camp
fun.
Over the weekend, and it reminds me so much of when Jaren used to do the Grizzlies kids camp.
And Jaren still is joyful and fun, but like Jaren's also
been
up on game
now.
and how the media stuff works, and he's
You learn along the way. Teresa, I did want to ask you, as we're less than a week from the draft, this is our last time that we'll talk to you before the NBA draft. And I know the Associated Press had their latest mock draft come out yesterday. They had the Grizzlies taking Dalton Knecht, Tennessee Volunteer Dalton Knecht, with the 9th pick. There are so many rumors circulating the Grizzlies could trade up, they could trade down. We do not know what will happen at this point. But if the Grizzlies were to take Dalton Knecht, what's that fit like? And where do you sit on kind of assuming what the Grizzlies could be doing or cooking up next week?
Well, that's the thing. Could I see Knecht in the Grizzlies uniform? Absolutely. He went to Tennessee specifically to work on his defense under Rick Barnes. So to add that to his game, and he can shoot it from outside the arc. He can drive to the bucket. So his game certainly it would fit, I think, in Memphis. But let's be honest. I mean, with the roster as it is, doesn't it just feel like they've got to get a big man to give Jaren some room to work down in the paint? I mean, I was discussing this with my my AP colleague there, essentially Clay Bailey, and it's like we don't know what the Grizzlies could do. I mean, it's like they literally could do anything, but And I got a thing to pick, a bone to pick. These not too early predictions and putting it's like, do you realize why the Grizzlies were what they were this year? It was injuries.
Yeah.
If they stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're awesome.
Teresa, we're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of people who conveniently forget about the Memphis Grizzlies when doing their way too early rankings.
They were the number 2 seed for 2 straight seasons.
Yes.
They just need to stay healthy and be healthy in the postseason. That's their biggest challenge right now. That and finding a big man. I do think they've got to find that. And I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what does Zach Kleeman do to fill that hole. That's literally the one hole. Yeah. They almost have too many players. So they've got options. And if they trade up and get Klingon, and boy, that name as a Star Trek fan, I want to call him a Klingon. I mean, let's just do it, baby. But there we go. Yeah. I don't know what the Grizzlies are going to do, and if anyone says they know, don't listen to them because this is maybe the one draft that is the most I don't know out of this franchise. And let's be honest, Zach Kleeman has found some gems in the draft. I mean, Gigi Jackson. I mean, where did that come from? And
Desmond Bane is still technically a gem of a draft pick.
Yes.
Vince Williams, of course, has turned into a gem of a draft pick. Like, they've been there.
Tillman is a guy who literally Memphis formed. And here's the thing. Before I forget the thought, with oh Lord, they're criticizing Dalton Knecht, a couple of my colleagues, because he's a little old in the tooth. Look, for me, Desmond Bane is example A of why you do want some guys who stayed and played 4 years in college. I don't think age is as much a knock against guys coming into the NBA anymore, especially in the draft, because you want some experience. You don't want to have to continue cooking a cookie before you can throw it out on the table.
I like the way that you think, Teresa, and it is absolutely the summer of finding the BFG, the big friendly giant for the Memphis Grizzlies. Before we let you go, the Tennessee Volunteers have not won a national championship
GBO
since 2009. They are now into the championship round of the College World Series in Omaha. They will take on Texas A&M in an all-SEC final. Is this the year for GBO, Teresa?
Yes.
Noted Big Orange fan to my left.
Well,
GBO.
See, I am a graduate of the University of Tennessee, 1987. But, guys, it feels like it's just time for the #1 seed curse as it is. You know, Miami was the only #1 seed under the current format to win the title back in 1999. Hasn't been done in this century. And the way Tennessee is hitting, guys, they missed 2.5 games because of the run rule this year. And they are still 10 away from LSU's baseball single season mark of 188. And if they'd played those other 2.5 games, they'd have that record. I'm watching the Vols. I'm also watching the Jello Shot Challenge. I'm just curious. Can A&M come in and hold their weight? Does some big oil guy come in and do something crazy? But, yes, it feels like the Vols have got – that's a big part. People were like, oh, they can't hit homers there. Hit triples. And, yes, they can hit the ball out of the park. And they've got outfielders who can run them down and run into the wall and make incredible catches. It just feels like third time in 4 years to Omaha. It feels like it's time. And the SEC, it just means more. 5th straight year that it's an all-SEC matchup, 10th in the last 14 years.
I know. I hit an "it just means more" parlay like
Congrats.
a weekend or two ago. I bet there were 5 college baseball games or 4 of them going on. I just bet all SEC teams parlayed together. Why?
SEC.
Because it just means more. That's why I did it. Teresa, I appreciate you giving a shout out to Clay Bailey.
And
shout out Clay Bailey.
Shout out Clay Bailey. Shout out
We
Jello
all
Shot
love
Challenge. We are,
Yes.
not to disrupt Clay with the Jello Shot Challenge, but I was going to say all
We should
SEC.
get Clay Bailey on the show doing a Jello Shot Challenge.
We should. Sign it up for tomorrow. Tennessee is at 11,592 Jello shots. A&M is at 10,230 Jello shots. Obviously, they have the weekend to continue working. They both joined the double-digit club of the Jello Shot Championship lore. The most Jello shots ever consumed in Omaha for College World Series is LSU in 2023. Their fans drank 68,888 Jello shots. In second place is Ole Miss in 2022 with 18,777. But now Tennessee sits in the all-time #3 spot. So not only could they go win a championship this year, they could also continue elevating into Jello shot lore. I'm just saying.
And they have today and tomorrow to get more fans to Omaha. They'll get there. We know that about the big Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, man. Oh, by the way, LSU, they were born in the bayou. They were bred for that.
Right.
And their livers are still healing, I think, to this day from that Jello Shot Challenge. But I want to see I'm watching that as closely as I am watching the games. I mean, it's fun to watch that Jello Shot Challenge because, yes, there's alcohol involved, but it's for charity. It's a great, cool,
It's for a good
thing.
cause.
It is.
Teresa, as always, thank you so much for joining us. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye, John.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Teresa Walker. She joins us each and every Thursday. She is the best. You can follow her at Teresa M. Walker. Does Drake still have the key to the city, Roser?
Memphis. I told Paul Young that they need to revoke that.
Was it the
I'm
key to
pretty
the
sure I
city
did
or
tell
the
him
key to the
that.
county?
No, I think it's the key to the city.
I think it needs to be returned.
Yeah.
I think
He needs to be placed on
Yeah.
neighborhood watch.
yeah. I think it actually
Predator
was.
moves in
I think it
flocks.
ended up being the key to the county, but it was reported as the key to the city. It was a key to Shelby County.
Well, can we
Regardless,
take the key away.
the key should be taken away, or someone needs to seek. We just can't have that anymore. It'd
I
be
would
one
say-
thing
could-
if he had showed up and performed, but alas.
Could Kendrick? Could anybody? I would love to see a day where a Memphis rapper could do that. And before you tell me that Yo Gotti had his Yo Gotti's birthday bash, Yo Gotti had beef with a lot of other rappers local rappers that would not show up to something like that. Like I'd love to see a Memphis artist get so
That'd
big
be
one
so
day that they could do that. Kendrick, he could unite all of it together on the stage because they all like him. I'd love to see a Memphis hip hop artist be big enough to be able to do that.
I'm ready
one
for it
day.
to be Glorilla. Yeah, Glow.
I don't think
Come on.
Glorilla cares about any of that.
Come on.
I'm just here for the music. I love the country accent. Shout out
love
Glow and
Glow.
shout out Moneybag Yo.
Shout out Glow. Shout out Meg the Stallion, who keeps bringing out WNBA teams on her tour. It's true. She brought out the Mercury last night. She brought out the Aces earlier.
Is that how Cameron Brink tore her ACL?
No.
Oh, okay.
R.I.P. Cameron Brink.
Yeah, it's
all the boys are so sad.
They are.
They're so sad Cameron Brink won't be playing the rest of the
They were
season for her ACL.
living for her fit pics.
They were going to live for her. I hope they made the jerseys for Team USA because I think her 3-on-3 jersey, like the Cameron Brink Team USA 3-on-3 jersey, would have been one of the biggest sellers
Wait,
of
she's on a 3-on-3 team?
this summer. She was. Not anymore. She has to be
Well,
replaced.
yeah.
And
wait,
before
they have
anybody
5-on-5
says-
and 3-on-3?
Yeah.
Is Caitlin Clark on the 3-on-3 team?
No.
Why
didn't
is
try-
she
didn't
not on
try
the-
out for it.
Oh, okay.
Don't get mad she didn't try out for it.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's like, Caitlin Clark can replace Cameron Brink. It's like, no, they're different positions too. She didn't try out for it.
I don't think it matters. It's 3-on-3.
Exactly.
Caitlin Clark.
You want to know who's the star of the men's 3-on-3 team?
It's like
I'll give you
it's like the
guesses.
professor. No, it's Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, it's Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, it's Jimmer Fredette.
Well
the
done.
professor, Jimmer Fredette. It's the
Same
thing.
difference,
It's the
same thing.
yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break because we got to bring Bennett Doyle in. We are continuing our summer movie series, and the category this week was buddy movies. The winner via you all was Step Brothers. That received the most votes, so we rewatched Step Brothers, a 2008 classic. We'll talk about that. We'll also reveal what next week's summer movie series options are and what the category is after a quick break.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
We have another edition. This will be the third edition of the Debate Club. You guys are going to sell a shoe to Mr. Bennett Doyle, our producer over here.
Oh, yeah.
I saw these.
Go.
I've seen these.
I saw these on social media too.
It's
Good
the
luck.
perfect house shoe.
I know, right?
Like, yeah, it's not even a house shoe. I bet you they're really comfortable. You know, you heard of unisex. This is unifoot. Oh my God.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I almost lost a girlfriend in the Spring River one
Because
time.
you pushed her off the boat?
Yeah. No, she fell off and then her foot got caught in some stones, like in a current.
You didn't save her, so who did?
I don't remember. Somebody did.
Her foot just jarred loose.
Current husband.
Yeah. Like, I'm not Michael Phelps. There ain't no sense in both of us dying.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
The Grizz Girls are no ordinary dance team. They're known across the NBA for setting the standard for world-class dance and entertainment. From hip-hop to jazz, the Grizz Girls do it all. And they're looking for talented dancers with dynamic personalities to join the team. Do you have what it takes to join a premier NBA dance team and entertain Grizz Nation both on the court and in the community? Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information and show us what you've got at Open Auditions Saturday, July 13th.
Shall we talk about our favorite NBA Finals MVPs? Number 3 is a little bit of Canadian history because it's the first and only NBA championship that the country as a whole has. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard's second finals MVP. I still get my little heart warm even thinking about it, and I was there watching every game. IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. It is Thursday. It is the summer, and that means it's time for our summer movie series to continue. It's me, it's John Roser, and it's Bennett Doyle on this Thursday to review Step Brothers. Bennett, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing
What's
great.
What's up, friends? How are y'all?
I see you have once again graced us with a physical media copy of Step Brothers. Where did you get it?
So I had to buy this one, actually. I got it on Amazon. It was like $8, but yeah, we got the Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the theatrical and the extended cut edition of Step Brothers. Of course, you watch the extended cut, because why wouldn't you? You bought the Blu-ray.
Why not?
And I wouldn't say, there ain't too much additional really added. You get an extra sex scene with Dale and
Alice.
And
yeah. That's kind of the big part of the extended version.
Congratulations.
So,
You get John C. Reilly and Catherine Hahn.
doing it on Christmas.
Whatever.
Yep.
On Christmas.
Yep, at Christmas dinner.
What a beautiful thing.
Yep.
All right, before we get into today's summer movie review, and we'll talk all things Step Brothers and all things Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Adam McKay, our next category for next week's summer movie series is movies that make you cry, in honor of Inside Out 2 coming out, which I've heard from all of my fellow anxious millennials. It will indeed make you cry. And I haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet. I'm planning to see it tomorrow. But we are doing movies that make you cry. And your options are Up, which was my nomination.
I was going to do that one.
Okay, well,
You stole
Up
it from me.
From Bennett. So instead, he went with Forrest Gump, which is currently winning our YouTube poll
Let's
with
go.
37% of the vote.
Forrest Gump's a great movie. It doesn't make me cry.
Does not make
but
me
it's a
cry
great
either.
movie.
What?
Lieutenant
No.
Dan.
I laugh at Forrest Gump.
Okay.
I kind of laugh at Forrest Gump.
First off, it wasn't my first or like my fifth choice, but I'm trying to win here. I need one of my movies to come to the front of the line here.
I love the soundtrack, so I would appreciate.
What were the other options
listening.
outside of Step Brothers for this week?
Okay, hold on. Let me get through the rest of the
Okay,
movies
yeah,
that make you cry.
Yep.
Marley and Me, which Other
No.
Jacob did.
You
Which
should never make anybody
Other Jacob
ever
hates
watch that
everybody
movie.
for making us try to watch Marley
Yeah.
and Me. And then Kelsey Wright Johnson is going to join us next week, and Hardball is hers, which is a beautiful film. Will absolutely make me cry.
I never seen it.
You've never seen
You've
Hardball?
never seen Hardball? Oh.
Yeah, I'll have to do some.
You should watch it
I'll
no
watch
matter
it
what.
anyways.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
The
Cool.
other options for buddy movies, the one that I wanted to win was Bennett's choice, which was Superbad. I have not revisited Superbad in a long time. What were our other two?
Oh, it was Superbad, Friday.
Friday and Dodgeball?
I don't remember. No, you did Shrek.
I did
You
Shrek.
did Shrek.
I did
yeah.
Shrek. That's right.
All due respect to Other Jacob, which congratulations on winning for
Step
Step
Brothers.
Brothers. I cannot believe this beat out Superbad. That's outrageous.
I can't either,
Superbad
but
is an amazing movie, and
I
it still
don't-
holds up.
I don't hate that it did because I don't know when I would have found myself rewatching Step Brothers, and I'm thrilled that I rewatched Step Brothers in the year 2024.
Yes. Jess, we texted yesterday. It 100% holds up to me. There are some things that maybe don't, but like
maybe don't use the R word, don't use the F word. You're not the Pope. Like you can't say that anymore. But ultimately, my process of watching this movie was
I think you can say that now.
it starts and I was like, oh my God, I love this movie so much. And then it's continuing and I'm like, why did I love this movie as much as I did? And then I shift right back into, I will love this movie for the rest of my life and you can't do anything to stop that.
Yes.
I wrote down close to 20 quotes from this movie,
yeah.
many of which I remember and
Very
say
quotable.
regularly. Others of which I had periods in my life when I would say all the time, and we'll go through the movie like we did last week with Sandlot. But to start it off, this movie came out in 2008.
Yep.
It stars Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, directed by Adam McKay. This movie came out of Talladega Nights because McKay, Ferrell, and Reilly made Talladega Nights in 2006, and they had so much fun working on that movie together, and it was full of so much improv. They made a blood pact to do it again, and that is how we got Step Brothers. And I am very grateful that that's how we got Step Brothers. There is a level of sadness to this because since in recent years, Adam McKay and Will Ferrell had a pretty dramatic public falling out where they are not friends anymore. They previously had a production company together called Gary Sanchez Productions. They also were responsible for founding Funny or Die. One of my favorite early internet movies or videos of all time is Pearl the Landlord. Give me my money. It's like in the same space as David at the Dentist and Charlie Bit Me and like early YouTube videos that just took a hold of the zeitgeist, if you will. But they're no longer friends because Adam McKay cast John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss in the HBO series Winning Time about the Showtime Lakers, and Will Ferrell wanted that role deeply.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, interesting. And he's a West Coast, like LA.
And Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are also friends. Unclear if they are still friends, but John C. Reilly is the one who broke the news to Will Ferrell that he was playing Jerry Buss. Adam McKay did not. And Adam McKay did a Vanity Fair profile maybe like 2 or 3 years now where he admitted like he effed up, like he made a mistake. And their production company, you can still see it on Secession. That was one of the last things that they've done.
Because he did a few episodes.
But Will Ferrell did nothing. So like Adam McKay did some of the episodes of Secession, but Will Ferrell was actually just like adjacent, and they don't work together anymore, and they're not friends. And it's a very sad story because they gave us so much good stuff.
Yeah,
they did,
so good together.
Talladega Nights, Anchorman, Eastbound, and I mean, I know that's Danny McBride, but Adam McKay's done a bunch of good stuff.
Yes.
And now he does more like political satire movies.
Yeah, he did the Don't Look Up movie was one of the last ones, which would have felt like something Will Ferrell would have been in if perhaps they had still been friends within that period. But this movie, for me, sits in such a specific, like, I loved Will Ferrell during this period. And it kind of came out of when I was a kid. My 2 favorite comedians, or I guess 3 favorite comedians, were Chris Farley, Chris Rock, and Adam Sandler. And that was kind of like my foray into this style of like raunchy comedy, we'll call it. And then Will Ferrell in 2003, he does Elf. So obviously he was on SNL. Then he does Elf, which kind of shoots him into mainstream where he's like the leading man. He goes Elf, Anchorman, Kicking and Screaming, Bewitched with Nicole Kidman, The Producers, Talladega Nights, Blades of Glory, Semi-Pro, and then Step Brothers in 2008. That's like his biggest
He had a run right there. Kicking and Screaming is the underrated one in that. Kicking
my
and
fraternity little brother is in Kicking and Screaming. That's like one of my favorite fun facts, because in Greek life you have like a little brother. I don't know.
That's
weird. Were either of you in Greek life?
You have a lot of friends that were in random
I went
like
to USC,
acting roles.
and I grew up in like the theater and stuff. So all of that connects. But yeah, he'd be like, when it's 2 truths or a lie, his is I'm in Kicking and Screaming.
How old was your little brother?
Well, he's 2 years younger than me, but he was a kid in Kicking and Screaming.
Oh, okay.
It came out in 2005.
2005, yeah.
And it filmed like 2 years before.
That's
it
an
came
underrated one, though.
Kicking and Screaming is a great sports movie.
That's an underrated one.
I
It does get
completely
lost in that Will, because there's a run right there that you mentioned, right? Like Elf, Anchorman, even Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, Semi-Pro. Like all of those were so big that it's like Kicking and Screaming kind of gets, you don't think about it as much.
And that's where like Will Ferrell's the star. Before that, I guess my first understanding of Will Ferrell was probably Zoolander.
Yeah.
Like so hot right now.
Also,
Hansel, hot right
in
now.
Kicking and Screaming, great underrated Robert Duvall performance.
Yes.
Underrated
Yes.
Robert Duvall.
What did you guys know John C. Reilly from, if anything, before Step Brothers?
The Gangs of New York.
That he's also in this movie. He was in. So the way I got introduced to him was Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie is this movie called Hard 8, and he's one of the main characters in that. Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Who else is in that movie? It's really good. Definitely check out Hard 8. That's an underrated movie.
I knew him from Chicago, the musical
with
movie version
Catherine
with
Zeta-Jones?
Catherine Zeta-Jones
Yeah.
and Renee Zellweger. He sings one of my least favorite songs in musical theater history. It's a song called Mr. Cellophane. And I hated John C. Reilly because he played that part, and I hated that song so much. But he was also in one of my favorite movies of all time, which is The Hours, which is this incredible like Sylvia Plath multi-universe through different decades of like women and families. And he's married to Julianne Moore in that movie. But I didn't think of him as a comedic actor until Step Brothers. But now if you ask me like what's your favorite John C. Reilly movie, it would be Step Brother. Like, that's what I associate him with, even though he now has played Jerry Buss in Winning Time, which is his most
I still haven't seen Winning Time either.
You haven't seen Winning Time? Have you watched Clipped?
I didn't watch
Both are great.
the second season, but the first season, yeah, it's great. Also, I would say Boogie Nights. He's in Boogie Nights
he is in
too.
Boogie Nights.
He's so good in that movie. Yep.
All right, so let's dive into the movie as a whole. So it starts
do
with
it.
an actual quote from George W. Bush.
Yes.
Families is where our nation finds hope and where wings take dream.
I can't wait till somebody does something similar to this. And so how many years was this after George W. Or was George W. Bush
He
still
was
in
still
office?
in office. Well,
Oh.
no, he came out in 08. Yeah, so he would have still been in office.
If comedies
Obama
were
was
still around,
elected in
somebody
08.
could do this and have a Joe Biden quote that's just letters across the top.
Stop it, Rosa.
Wow.
It would just be
Wow.
letters.
Here we
God.
go.
A bunch of
I
letters.
felt like I should have put. Doing this with you guys is like I need bumpers. Like every show I do, I need to
I
put
don't
up
think
bumpers
you know
for
where
you
I'm
guys.
going with some of this stuff.
I never do. All right, so it opens on the introduction of the two characters, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, Brennan and Dale, who are two older men, close to 40, who are acting like children because they both still live with their parents. So you get Brennan making microwave nachos. Vampire Weekend's A-Punk starts to play, which is a great opening song of a movie.
And that, to me, is exactly where we should have known exactly what we were getting with this movie.
Yes.
Because tortilla chips with just some shredded cheese thrown on
great.
top and then put in the microwave that is exactly something like a 13-year-old boy only knows how to make. It's the only
Correct.
thing he knows how to do, yeah.
We get a lot of nostalgia hits. Dale is playing Guitar Hero, and his dad is leaving for the weekend and says he's leaving him money for pizza, and his dad says not to spend it on like porn, essentially.
Yeah.
And Dale goes, "What if I want wings? That's not enough, Dad."
Not enough.
Felt that.
And I felt that deep within my soul.
Yep.
The two parents, the mom of Brennan, who is played by Mary Steenburgen, who is married to Ted Danson, who was also
America's
the mom in
Mom.
Elf, who is also the mom in The Proposal, America's Mom, and Dale's dad, who is played by, I always forget his name, Richard Jenkins, who I knew from 6 Feet Under.
He's been in so much.
He's been in a lot,
yeah.
but they meet at a conference. They're at a work conference, and he's in the middle of his performance or his presentation, and he says he's staring at the mom and says, "Eliminates the need to put your face between those breasts."
Yes.
And then they fall in love in that moment, and he says, "I'm Robert. I play racquetball. I collect coins. Sweet Jesus. I love Korean food." And she says, "I'm Nancy. I make tandoori chicken. I listen to NPR every year, or I contribute to NPR every year, and I love movies with Rob Reiner, and Pilates changed my life." And that's your introduction to these two older people who then both admit that they have older sons who still live at home. That is true love. They say, "Let's get married." And then we are immediately going into their wedding, and they move very quickly. She talks about how Brennan was laid off from his job at PetSmart, and we get another great quote where he says, "I wasn't fired, I was laid off. I didn't want salmon. I said it 4 times. This wedding is horseshit." The number of times that I have said this wedding is horseshit in my life is high. And that's one of the most, I think that's one of the lines that I quote the most from this movie. We just became best friends, and this wedding is horse.
You quote different things than I do from this movie.
I'm sure we will get through many of them. I'm sure. That does not surprise me whatsoever. We go into like alternating. The kids are mad at their parents because they are all moving in together.
Yes.
And Brennan says that he's never going to call him dad. Never, ever. Robert better not get in my face because I'll drop that MFer. That's a great part.
Brennan?
Yeah. How are we feeling at this point in the movie?
I love an underrated part of that when they're sitting at the dinner table and Brennan gets, like, they both get up from the table, and Brennan gets up and doesn't know what to do with what's the dad's name, or Richard's
Robert.
Robert. With, like, he doesn't know what to do, and he kind of acts like he's gonna give him a hug or shake his hand, and then he just walks away. And
He doesn't know what to call. One of the many name mess ups in the movie. You know,
Yes.
it's like
Doctor.
Dr. Doback.
Dr. Doback.
Just call me Robin.
Well, and that is where, before we get to them at the dinner table, like the two boys face off in the lawn, and that's where he's like,
Yes.
"I'm Brennan, I'm Dale, but you have to call me Dragon. You have to call me Nighthawk."
Yes.
I love
And
his
then
Return of the Jedi shirt, the
and
Yoda
it's-
shirt. Love it.
And it's perfect how it introduces the name of the movie, too. They're distant from each other, and
Yes.
right in the middle of them,
Step Brothers. And two boy men
with the Men in Black
to life,
font.
Yep.
with the Men in Black font who have beef at the beginning, and it's so universal. I'm an only child, so I have never experienced the siblingness of all of this, but I assume, especially when it comes to like step siblings, one day you're an only child and the next day you have a new brother who is living with you. And the way that they do it, where they are close to 40 years old, is very funny. They are both children. Will Ferrell is like slurping his drink at the table. Dale is squeezing all of the ketchup off,
bottle,
and
yeah.
it sounds like a giant fart. Dale's like, why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer. And Nancy tells the whole table that Brennan is a gifted singer, and that's where we get another one of my favorite quotes. I've been called the songbird of my generation.
Yes.
Which we will return back to when he eventually sings. Later in the movie, Dale sings the crotch song, which I completely forgot about.
Yep.
Brennan says, that's cute. I remember my first beer. Which I don't think that's where I first heard that. There were a couple quotes in this movie where I'm like, surely I heard that before
Maybe.
Step Brothers.
Yeah, maybe.
I would think so.
And then said, last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur.
Yes.
And then Brenda starts crying.
And then they go tour the house, and Dale is showing Brennan around his house because it is his house that was built in 1985 by General Custer.
By General Custer.
He sees the office and the Beat Laboratory, and we're introduced to the drum set. And the one rule of the house is never, ever, ever, ever touch my drum set. No touching. And it has this era of like the drum set is clearly going to be a character of its own within this movie.
Yes.
Robert is looking at maps with a magnifying glass in bed, and Nancy asks why Dale never left home. And he says that he left college in his junior year to join the family business. Robert is a medical doctor, and Dale would always say, it's always who you know, even though it was a medical, didn't need to go to school, didn't need to do anything. So you get an understanding of both of these boys.
I do think we skipped over when they were driving over to the house, the conversation between John C. Reilly and his dad, Dr. Doback, when he says, Dad, basically talking about what if she decides to come on to me?
Yes.
I've got a luscious V hair going from my chest pubes down to my ball fro. And he says, she's had the old bull and decides she wants the young calf and grabs me by the wiener. And that's one of the few couple times in this movie where Dr. Doback finally snaps. He goes, shut the F up!
Yes.
And screams at him.
It
says they go on riverboat gambling trips and make their own beef jerky. And he's
like, we've never done that.
We've literally never done any of that.
We also found out why Brennan is so weird. And it does like a throwback to the talent show where he's singing a song from a pirate musical.
Yes.
And his brother and his friends made a joke choir behind him that started singing Brennan Has a Mangina. And everyone joined in, even the mom. And everyone is laughing about it. And meanwhile, Derek, the brother, which is played by Adam Scott, who we'll get into, won the contest by lip syncing Ice Ice Baby.
Which is a perfect, because we haven't met Derek today, Derek. We haven't met him yet.
Exactly.
But that song and that performance is perfect as to what the kind of person we're going to be getting from Derek.
I think he is the best character in the movie.
Adam
I
Scott.
think he's the funniest part of the movie. That I cackled at that part with the choir where they're chanting "Brendan has a mangina" because in one part they cut to the crowd and there's like this 80-year-old man laughing. It's so funny, dude.
Did you know
good.
that
that seems like something that the going to the crowd, because you mentioned where this kind of humor where it first started. That almost seems like an homage to like an Adam Sandler movie. Because that is exactly something you get from an Adam Sandler movie.
It feels like the water sucks throwback in The Water Boy, where you're learning about why he hates Gatorade.
Yes.
So within that too, Adam Scott's character, it was either going to go to John Hamm or Dax Shepard.
No.
And it ends up going to Adam Scott. And both of them see it as like one of the ones that got away in their acting careers.
John Hamm would be interesting in that.
I bet he could do that.
Adam Scott's so perfect in it now.
Scott is perfect.
He's so good in it. Okay, so before we get to the introduction of that, like Dale and Brennan are lying together in bed. It's their first night in their new house. Their beds are next to each other. And he goes, "Are you awake? I just want you to know I hate you." And then he says, "I hate you too. And this house sucks ass. The only reason you're living here is because my dad and I decided your mom is really hot." It's like they're just going back and forth,
then he
back and forth.
says the R word.
And then he says the R word,
Yeah.
and he says, "You can't say that. This is a house of doctors." And then Brennan goes,
learned
"You're not a
doctors."
doctor. You're a big, fat, curly-headed F."
Yeah.
And they just keep going back and forth. And then he said, "I'm taking a pillowcase and filling it with bars of soap, and I'll beat the S out of you." Brennan says, "This is my house now." And they fall asleep
But he
hating
says
each other.
before that, which you can see is something in their family with Adam, with Derek and Brennan. He says, "No way, Kimosabi."
Yes. And
This
then
is my
yes.
house. Which I think something that needs to be brought back is saying Kimosabi. Saying
Okay.
"No way, Kimosabi." Yeah.
Okay.
I think it hits. Yeah.
Put that one in your pocket.
Yeah. I don't know if we're allowed to use that in 2024.
I'm not sure if we are either. I think some research needs to be made on that.
All right, we need some research.
We then are introduced to the boat, the Gilded Lady, which is Robert's pride and joy, his beautiful boat. And Dale kicks Brennan off the boat. And Dale, and then they're like going back and forth. There's a montage of them just doing dumb stuff to each other. Dale writes, "I love crystal meth" on the back of Brennan's shirt.
Love it.
Brennan
I
draws
love
a
that.
giant like gash on Dale's face, so he's walking around and looks like he has like a giant bleeding wound getting out of it. And Brennan then gets on the drum set, which we have known is Dale's special thing. And Brennan's yelling, "F you, Dale, F you." And then it transports to Brennan sitting on the couch watching Rock of Love with Bret Michaels, which I was so excited.
Yes.
I don't know how excited I usually get about seeing like old TV shows pop up in movies or pieces of pop culture, but seeing Rock of Loves with Bret Michaels come on the TV was something that I didn't expect to enjoy so much.
Amazing.
Dale,
That's just
and it also
perfect
gives
as
us one of the
watching
another great quote, which Dale asks Brennan why he's so sweaty, and he says, "I was watching Cops." I was watching
Fair enough.
Cops. Dale goes upstairs, sees his drumsticks have been moved. "Hey man, did you touch my drum set? It's weird because it seems like someone touched my drum set. Swear on your mom's life that you didn't touch it. I know Cops didn't start till 4.
Yeah, Cops doesn't start till 4.
But there is no confirmation that Brennan used the drum set. However, I forgot that Brennan literally goes up and takes off his pants and places himself on the drum set.
He said, "I'm going to go upstairs because I'm going to put my nutsack on your drum set," which features also, I think, this line, went underappreciated because I think even in 2008, there's just not, Led Zeppelin is not ringing even with this audience. And so it still doesn't ring true. But when he does and says, "John Bonham's playing Moby Dick for real," as he's putting his balls on the drum set.
That was very
people
funny.
who don't know Led Zeppelin have a song called Moby Dick. Their drummer's name is John Bonham, an amazing drum solo in that song. Go listen to it. It's a great song.
The boys start to fight. They are in it all the way. They end up in the front yard. The seeing eye dog of the neighbor that we met earlier is grabbing
Cinnamon. The dog's name is Cinnamon. The
dog Cinnamon.
Get out, come over and touch your face.
Yeah. I forgot about that part. And they're in it, and like Nancy comes home. She's trying to stop them with a hose.
She's got the water.
And she finally snaps and she goes, "What the effing F?"
Okay, that is one
which
of my
I say
favorite
all the time.
one. That is
That's one of mine
absolutely
too.
Yes, that is one that is held up. The baseball bat and the golf club to each other head. She's still got that. She goes, "What the F?"
And Robert's like in the hospital because he's a medical doctor, and he gets a call that he has to come home and help break up these two grown adult men who will not stop fighting. They knock each other out. They end up on the couch watching Shark Week, icing their heads. They have to fix the drywall, and they have to find jobs within the month. So there you get like a plot moving forward where Robert is fed up. Robert has a new wife. Robert wants to live a happy life at home. These dudes need jobs. They need to move out.
I think something during that fight that went on, and Will Ferrell is amazing at this if you go to some movies. He did it in The Other Guys, another underrated Will Ferrell movie, like a dark comedy with Mark Wahlberg.
Same, directed by Adam
right.
McKay. Yeah.
Like the building blows up or something, and he ends up like falling back on the ground or something, and he yells out, "I need an MRI!" I don't know if anybody caught this, but when Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are fighting and fall down the stairs, Will Ferrell yells, "I'm pre-diabetic!"
Oh, yeah.
Will Ferrell is amazing at yelling the most random lines that have nothing to do with anything that's happening.
That's true. And they're mostly improv, which is incredible. Like, these are two great improvers, and you get like wonderful moments. They're losing television for a week, and the remote is going in the safe, and they go, "This house is a prison." I used to say that anytime my parents would tell me something I wasn't allowed to do. We go to at night. We learn that Brennan and Dale both sleepwalk, and at this point, watching back this movie, I'm like, how did these parents not kick them out earlier? These are two of the most obnoxious, horrific housemates to ever exist. And I know I'm not a parent. I don't get it. You have to love your kids. But when Brennan puts his mom's purse in the freezer every time he sleepwalks, and Dale puts
couch
pillows in the oven, and I'm like, oh my God, these kids are the worst.
So as fast forward later, Derek saying, of course it's their fault. They're the two biggest D-heads on the planet, and they're living in your house.
Yes. Nancy wakes the boys up the night after the sleepwalking incident. It's 12:30. Brennan's brother is coming, and dun dun dun, we know Brennan's brother is the one who...
He's an even bigger doucher than you are.
Even bigger doucher than you are. We are introduced by Derek and his wife Alice and their two kids in their car, harmonizing to Sweet Child of Mine. And Tommy is the oldest. He's got a nice vibrato. And then Allison is so flat. Is it Alice or Allison?
Alice.
Alice, right? Yeah, okay.
Alice.
Alice is so flat. And Derek is mad and he yells, $1,200 a week for voice lessons, and this is what I get. Almost crashes the car while singing. And the whole like family portrait of this group is one of my favorite introductions of a family and understanding exactly who they are.
Okay, so how many people, I don't know if we're old enough yet, maybe. Do you know, Jessica, you would know this because you obviously have more female friends. Do you know an Alice?
Yes.
Who is miserable? Like, you know she's miserable in the marriage, but she has
1000%.
kids, and she's not going to, it's just...
They don't even have kids.
They're
just with, like, one of those dudes who treats her so poorly
and she
in
knows,
public.
And she knows it's just disrespectful, and she hates her life.
Yes.
She's like, this sucks.
Yes. I have, like, 3 people who pop into my mind immediately.
You have 3, okay.
3.
That's what I saw.
And if you're watching this and you're wondering if it's you, it's probably you.
I see that. So that's what I thought of. I was like, Alice is so miserable. Like, she hates her life.
And you know what I mean. Like that's why that scene works so well.
She probably
because you're able to understand.
She doesn't hate her kids. There's never anything about that with her hating her. She hates her husband. And I was like, I wondered. I was like, because I've seen your Instagram with all your girlfriends when you've gone to several weddings, and I'm like, I wonder if Jessica knows an Alice. I'm sure she does.
All right, we have to fly through this because I know Bennett has to meet up with GP around like 9:30.
Yep.
So we get into the family dinner, and if we don't finish it with you, I'll be devastated. But leave whenever you have to. We get to the family dinner. Derek was busy fishing with Mark Cuban. We learned Derek name drops celebrities all the time.
Watching
It's
the
what he
Bonita
does.
run. Jeff Probst and Chris Daughtry.
Not just cubes. Chris Daughtry, Jeff Probst, Bobby Flay.
What happened to Chris Daughtry?
Shout out Chris
I know.
Daughtry.
What happened to Chris Daughtry?
He played it live at the Garden one day.
I was there. I'm going home. Now the only time you hear Chris Daughtry is when there's an Instagram reel or a TikTok video of like a soldier surprising his family coming home.
Oh man, that's so bro.
Yes.
Man, and it plays.
And then I cried. That's a movie that makes me cry
royalties
every
he's getting
time.
off that song. My God.
Derek and Robert bond because Derek talks about going and getting bonita fish. Dale's like, what's a bonita? Is a bonita fish a big fish? And Derek's like, it's the biggest fish. And Robert and Derek talk about going out, setting sail. They're giggling. They love each other. You see the hatred start to form from Dale. We already know Brennan hates Derek. Now Dale is starting to hate Derek. Context clues, they're going to bond over hate, because what's the best way for two people who might not like each other very much to come together? It's a mutual hatred of one person, and Derek is evolving into that person. Brennan is in the treehouse. He's not even at the table. He didn't even come to family dinner, and Dale goes and finds him, and they're in the treehouse reading magazines, looking at magazines.
Nudies.
Nudies,
said he's got a great collection.
Derek then is trying to convince Robert, aka his new buddy Robbie, to sell his house so that he can make the money to go sailing. So now they wouldn't even have a house. They do like the whole explode. They have a handshake, the dream, the boat. It's all coming together. And Brennan and Dale are understanding that like this guy is bad news for them. Derek comes, tells him he made over $550,000 last year. He made that much money. He's the vice president of the biggest helicopter leasing company in the Western Seaboard and has hasn't had a carb since 2004. And he puts his shirt up and he goes, you want to touch these bad boys with his abs. And Dale ends up, and that's when he says Kamasabi.
Yeah, he says, oh, Kimosabi.
Yes. And then Dale punches him in the face.
And then my favorite, this is the line that me and my friends will text each other in our group chat when he says, Derek, you know what I hear is great for shoulder pain? He goes, what? If you lick my butthole.
I knew you were going to say
Anytime my friends will complain about something, like they're like, oh crap, my car's leaking oil. Like, you know what I hear is great for an oil leak? And then we'll text that to each other, yeah, because we're idiots.
So that's where everything happens. We find out that Alice was really turned on by Dale punching Derek in the face, and she has one of my favorite quotes that I'm not going to say, but when she says that she's going to roll him up into a little ball.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's so warm and
she's
cozy.
amazing.
I love Catherine Hahn.
That family's the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
Great.
I think Catherine Hahn is one of my favorite. Like, I loved, what's her name? Anna Gasteyer.
She looks like.
Yes. And when I was a kid, I had trouble merging from knowing Anna Gasteyer into knowing Catherine Hahn. But both of them sit in a similar place, like comedy-wise for me, and I just really enjoy them. She kisses Dale, and she just stands there and goes, I hate my life, Dale. I have nobody to talk to. Meanwhile, Derek says, Dane Cook pay-per-view in 20 minutes. Let's go. Further putting you back in the 2008 part, and the worst person you know was trying to go and watch a Dane Cook pay-per-view. So it really checks out for Derek. This is where they officially become friends. He says, listen, I know that we started out as a foe, but after that courageous act that you showed me against Derek, maybe someday we could become friends who ride majestic, translucent steeds shooting flaming arrows across the bridge of Hemdale. And Dale goes, I know what you mean. I would follow you into the mists of Avalon. And so begins their beautiful friendship. Brennan goes and shows him his sword. It is signed by Randy Jackson from American Idol because, of course, if you meet Randy Jackson from American Idol, you have to get an autograph, and all he had was his samurai sword. You get the industrial night-seeing goggles, and you get another great quote, holy Santa Claus shit. Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12? Even better, we have them when we're 40.
We got them when we're 40.
And he talks about how he thought he had a huge doucher for a stepbrother. Turns out they are about to learn they're best friends. On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Velociraptor. Favorite non-porn magazine to masturbate to. Good Housekeeping. If you were a chick, who's the one guy you'd sleep with? John Stamos. Did we just become best friends? And You Make My Dream starts playing, and they do karate in the garage, and you get a montage of karate, and they put Mentos in Pepsi, and Nancy hears them laughing and is happy, and Robert hears them laughing and says, I have a very bad feeling about this, because Robert knows what's up. They go to the bathroom together, they measure themselves together, and then they want to make bunk beds, and they go and ask their parents permission. They're like, you're adults, you can do what you want. And they're like, so what does that mean? You're adults, you can make your own choice. And they're like, this is gonna be the funnest night ever. You guys are never gonna regret this. Does your son know anything about carpentry? No. And you hear power tools, and they build bunk beds, all the floor space, so many room for activities, and then the bunk beds fall.
Yep.
And rumpus time is over.
There's so much blood. There's blood everywhere.
Another one of there's blood everywhere, and it's like a small cut on his arm, which is perfect. And they have interviews the next morning.
Yes.
So they have to transition into becoming interview ready, which is just them showing up and being absolutely ridiculous at a variety of job interviews. It's the most important day of their lives. So naturally, they wear tuxes. They wear bow ties.
Yes.
They are in tuxes. They are here to F shit up. And the first lady is either Pam or Pan. And I would assume this was all improv.
Yeah.
That was funny. The next guy is like Oprah Barbara Walters, your wife, F, Marry, Kill. Is that where we got F, Marry, Kill from?
No, I think it existed before that. It existed before that.
And then we get a Seth Rogen moment. And he's like, you guys are great. You've got hair similar to mine. Your tuxes are ironic.
Onion and ketchup.
You're hired, unless you're the weirdest guys ever, and I just don't see it. And then Dale rips a major fart because you can't have one of these movies without something like that. And Seth Rogen's character says, I can taste it on my tongue. Now the tuxedo thing kind of effed up.
Onion and ketchup.
And they don't get the jobs. They do not get the jobs at that point.
You
gotta go.
Yep,
Bye, Bennett.
He thought it was going to be silent. As they get back to the house, that's what he told him.
He tells his mom he thought it was going to be silent. On their way back to the house, Dale is on a bike.
yeah.
Brennan is walking. Dale wants to go a different direction because he doesn't want to run into
Chris Gardocki.
Chris Gardocki. They start brainstorming for their new company, Prestige Worldwide, an international entertainment company. But they have to go past Chris Gardocki, and they get beat up, and the kids just talk hella mess to these two grown men.
Yeah.
They finally get back. Nancy talks to them. Robert knows that they interviewed as a team, knows about the fart. And Derek is here, and you hear Ice Ice Baby playing. He says, hey guys, looks like your free ride is over. Have fun living in the streets. The house is for sale, Roser.
The house is for sale.
Is for sale.
Also, Chris Gardocki and them saying, is that Dale Doe back? That's making me dog shit.
Yeah.
And Dale's like, I'll lick it. I'll lick the white dog.
And he still ends up having to.
And he still ends up having. And when Brennan licks the dog poop, he goes, ah!
Yes.
That scream is so funny.
Yes. Nancy and Robert are sailing around the world. They're retiring. It's time for the kids to take responsibility for their lives. They're going to put enough money into accounts for security deposits on an apartment, and they both have to see therapists.
Yeah.
Good parenting.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. And like, it's clear that this is Robert's decision, and he has forced Nancy to go along with it. Nancy would like to be a little more empathetic to her children, or coddling to the children.
The therapists are her decision.
The therapists are her decision. We're back in the bedroom. Dale is in his Chewbacca mask, which is incredible. They finally have family. It's going to be taken away. They don't get that this is a lifestyle. This isn't a choice. All they think is that this is about the stupid boat. All they're thinking about is the stupid boat, says two grown children who are still freeloading off of their parents. Brennan says, as soon as she is of age, I'm putting her in a home. Tough.
Yeah, he does say that.
Then we get to hear Brennan sing for the first time, which is incredible.
Choosing Bonnie Raitt, let's give him something to talk about.
Let's give him something to talk about. Dale starts to cry.
Is an interesting choice.
Brennan assumes he's going to get made fun of, so he starts making excuses, which is like what every singer does. They're like, I've had a sore throat for a couple weeks. This isn't an acoustic environment.
And a half?
This isn't an acoustic environment that is suitable for my voice. And then Dale says, Brennan, that is the voice of an angel. You can't even make eye contact. Your voice is like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. I say that at least every 2 weeks.
Fergie and Jesus?
Your voice is like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. His voice is like a Fergie. Yes.
Somebody says you have to sing a song right now. What song are you singing?
Oh, God.
Is it not Bonnie Raitt's? Give him something to talk about.
Not, let's give him something to talk about.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, he's like, all right, I'm going to sing. And that's the song he sings.
That's the song.
Great song.
Great song. Wouldn't be my first choice.
Shout out Bonnie Raitt.
Will Ferrell doesn't have a bad voice. Like, there's something there.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not good.
No.
But it's not, like, horrific. It's perfect.
Heard way worse.
It's actually perfect because everybody knows that one person who is constantly like, yeah, I sing. And then they start singing, and you're like, okay, you're fine.
Yeah, right.
Congrats.
Yeah. It's like, you're good. You're fine.
You're good enough.
You're not, like, you're not Whitney Houston.
Exactly.
But.
Yeah. They decide that they're going to do a big investor meeting for their future entertainment company. They're going to make a music video. Meanwhile, D-Man Realty is selling the house, which is Derek's realtor company, and the phrasing on it is, my homes are nice, nice, baby, continuing with the ice, ice, baby trend. And Brennan and Dale sabotage Derek trying to sell this house. This is what part, does this part get made today?
Okay.
In the conversation of things that probably could not get made today.
Okay, so the part, the black couple, that when he shows the house to them.
Yes.
And Derek is like, it's a good lawn for you and your homies to chill. And he's like,
yes.
What? He's like, just look at this entryway. This entryway's so fresh.
Yes.
Say,
it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brennan has a full Nazi uniform on.
Yes.
With the first couple that comes. And yeah, I'm not sure that part. And Dale dresses up as a Klan member.
Yes.
Yeah. So we get the Nazi and the Klan member. I don't know. I think it could still. Yeah. It was done tastefully.
And then
nothing in this movie is done tastefully. But
yeah, it's funny. It fits what they do to make something go as ridiculous and as over the top and childish as possible. And then when the family gets the black couple gets inside the house, he's
dead on the floor.
Yeah.
with like
the asbestos. Yes, it was the asbestos. It was the asbestos that killed him.
We then go into their first therapy session, and Dale starts by saying, I forgot this, he works in college as a janitor, and it's just the scene out of Good Will Hunting, and the therapist goes, "Are you quoting Good Will Hunting?" And he goes, "No." Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That part was great.
Yeah,
because my best friend is Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Sees a math problem. Sometimes he likes to solve it. Yeah.
And then
my best friend is Ben Affleck.
Andrea Savage plays Brennan's therapist, and I love Andrea Savage. She's in a show called I'm Sorry, which is one of my favorite like deep cuts of a show of the last 10 years. She was also on Veep. She was Laura Montez. But Brennan essentially sexually harasses her every single time he is in therapy and wants to date his therapist. And just having watched The Sopranos and seeing how Tony Soprano consistently sexually harassed poor Dr.
Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah,
Dr. Melfi.
Dr. Melfi. This was like that on steroids.
Yes, it was.
Derek, that's when Derek keeps showing people the house and you get the asbestos part. They have the birthday party at a restaurant for Derek. He gets a new driver. He says, "I'm going to bomb it down the fairway."
Which it's on brand for him.
I say when I'm golfing.
He is excited. Callaway 3-wood. We all know a golf pro who would be super excited about the Callaway 3-wood or whatever. That they would be jacked up to get it. Rob Riggle also in this.
Yes. Okay, we'll talk about Rob Riggle. Other Jacob just went to the chat to tell us that we have to take a break because we have one more break to squeeze in. So let's take the break. We'll get into the birthday party, how it leads to the dissolution of all of this. The boys have to get jobs. We get the Catalina wine mixer. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll keep talking about Step Brothers after a quick break.
If you look at it, as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's number 1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Look at the score. Look at the score. He does it.
Hey, but look at the bench, though.
Look at number 3.
Right before I walked in the locker room, Danny Ainge pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, Tony Allen, come here. Let me give you a little basketball etiquette. When you're down 40, do not do an in-game windmill. It's just disgusting for the game."
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Welcome back as we continue to make our way through our summer movie series. Episode 2, we are talking our way through Step Brothers. We have reached the part where they are at the birthday party for Derek. He got his driver. He's getting his presents. Alice finds Dale in the bathroom, says it's their second date and their anniversary, all wrapped in one. They have a little sexual encounter, and she says, "Stay golden, pony boy. I gotta pee."
Yeah. Oh, and she hikes the leg and pees in the urinal. And he's like, "God, you're incredible."
The Outsiders forever. The Outsiders just won Best Musical at the Tony Awards. So we have an Outsiders musical. I reread The Outsiders for my book club this year, and now
What
hearing Stay
did
Gold,
she
Pony
say
Boy.
to him when she walked up behind and put her hands over his?
Oh God, I forget.
She was like, "Hey, it's I mean, it is like
It's our anniversary.
Yeah.
It's our second date." They go back out to the table, and Brennan and Dale begin their presentation, roll out a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity for prestige worldwide. You get the full song and the music video for Boats and Hoes.
Yeah.
Halfway through, you realize who's steering the boat. It's Robert's boat, and the boat crashes, and the boat is...
I think a couple things here that I think things from this movie that still hold up, that have stood the test of time. We've obviously gotten through like so many activities. It's something that still holds up. Boats obviously still hold up. Boats are still cool to this day. And I think Boats and Hoes.
I do too.
Who doesn't love Boats and Hoes? Like
We had a Boats and Hoes themed party.
I don't even mean the song. I just mean like Boats and Hoes. Yeah.
And they go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Absolutely.
Like ketchup and mustard.
Yes.
Mustard on that beat. I can't get it
Mustard
out of
on
my
that
head.
beat.
Can't get it out of my
like
head.
butter and croissants or
Yeah.
bread or or
Like
yeah, like
Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah.
Like Pooh and Piglet.
Like Kendrick and Hayden Drake.
Yeah.
It all goes together.
Exactly.
Robert is pissed about the boat. And the guys are in the back and they're like, well, aside from the damage to the boat, what did you guys think of the presentation? These kids are the dumbest in the world.
Oh
Nancy says they showed enthusiasm and inventiveness. Robert is like, they destroyed our dream, and you call him inventive. Dale asks if he's going to invest, and Robert dives into the back seat. He freaks out going into the house. He says that they're all failures. Brennan says, "You're embarrassing yourself, you geriatric F. Keep your leopard-spotted hands off my beautiful mother. She's a saint."
Yes.
Another one that's easily quotable. Robert then spanks Brennan.
And
then it's Christmas.
yeah, an amazing scene. He tells Dale when he's about to spank Brennan, he's, "Stop her, you're next." And Dale goes, "Yes, sir." And then absolutely stops, like a scared kid.
My favorite part about the Christmas piece, one, Denise, the therapist, called and wanted Brennan to know she can't go out with him for New Year's Eve because she's not his girlfriend. She's his therapist. The boys asked to open a present, and that is a step too far for Robert. He is done. He says he's going to the Cheesecake Factory to have a drink.
Yeah. Also, he says, but when she says she called to say she's not going to go out with you, not your girlfriend, she's your therapist. He says, that's what she said. She's a rascal.
She's a rascal.
She's a rascal.
Robert finally comes home, and Nancy's in bed, and she says, "You reek of scotch and cheesecake." And he goes, "Tonight at the Cheesecake Factory was the happiest I've been in months."
Yep.
That's how I would feel. If and when I go to the Cheesecake Factory before it closes for good in Memphis, it will be the happiest I've been in months, probably. I think the Cheesecake Factory is a very happy place.
When are you gonna
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
When does it close?
Like 2 weeks.
Oh,
I got a race. And I also have to go to Red Lobster.
What if we do
The dying chains are stacking up, and I don't have time.
What if we do they're dying in Memphis. Well,
They're dying everywhere.
Red Lobster's dying everywhere, but yeah, I think Cheesecake Factory's just dying in Memphis. I feel like I need to go to the Cheesecake Factory one time before.
Oh, you have to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll mark it on the calendars. Nancy asks Robert why he's giving up on their children, and he says, because they're almost 40. And then they're sleepwalking again, and they're throwing Christmas presents. And you never, ever, ever wake a sleepwalker. And they throw the Christmas tree, and Robert wakes them up, and they start attacking him, and they throw him down the stairs. Never, ever, ever wake a sleepwalker. We're back at the dinner table. A lot of these scenes revolve around the dinner table, which is perfect from a family element. It's the Christmas dinner table, and Robert and Nancy announce that they are splitting up. And Brennan and Dale are like, no, is it our fault? And it is a classic, like children being told by their parents that their parents are getting a divorce and the parents trying to say it's not your fault. But in this case, we've been watching an hour of this movie so far. And we know it is absolutely 1 trillion % the fault of Brennan and Dale. And they're like, we don't want you to blame yourselves, but they should absolutely blame themselves. And Robert is like, let's cut the shit. It's directly your fault.
Yeah, you made us resent each other. And Derek says, of course it's their fault. They're the 2 biggest D-heads on the planet, and they're living in your house.
They cry. Everyone cries. Alice starts to cry. It's like the perfect temper tantrum.
She calls him honey. Calls Dale honey. She's like, why are you calling
Dale throws up.
Call him honey? Yeah,
Dale cries so hard he pukes. Derek takes a picture. And it's like, so much of this movie is funny because it's adults acting like children, and I thought this like perfectly encapsulated when a kid is having a temper tantrum and the parent is still like, we have to take a picture to preserve this memory, and the kids look so miserable and you know they've been crying, and the parents look so stressed. You can see that like they are hanging on to life by a thread, and yet take the picture.
Yeah.
Take the picture.
Amazing.
House is in escrow. Boys have to be out by tomorrow. Boys are in bed. They turn to each other. They turn on each other and say it's each other's fault that the parents are getting a divorce. You're a mama's boy who's so chicken to sing in public. Brennan goes to play on the drums. We are right back at the beginning.
And he hits him over the head with the cymbal.
Hits him with the cymbal. Everything started again. Dale knocks him out. He thinks he's dead, so he goes to bury him. He's not really dead. I use ninja focus to slow my heart rate down, says Brennan as he comes back up, starts to bury Dale alive. Dale rises from the ground, very zombie-esque. They fight each other. The sun finally rises. They've fallen asleep on the lawn. He says, I'll kiss you right on the mouth, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, the things they say when they wake up from dreams, because earlier it was, the clown has no penis.
Yeah. I'll kiss you right on the mouth, Kenny Rogers.
Also, when they wake up on the lawn here, it's just randomly Cinnamon is sleeping next to them, too.
The dog has come back.
The dog has come back, yeah.
This is where they have to become adults. So Brennan gets a job with his brother. He also goes back to his therapist, who he now calls Dr. Angelface, and he asks for help on how to be a grown-up. What do you do with your hair in the morning? What happens if there's inclement weather? Can you wash your clothes in the dishwasher? All great questions of growing up.
Yeah.
You cannot wash your clothes in the dishwasher. Dale will take any job. He's just doing bills and things. He ends up taking a job with a catering company. We see Brennan have to grow up learning that he doesn't have toilet paper, so he has to use a bath mat and the sink.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Costco and gets toilet paper in bulk, which is a big win.
Yeah, it's a big win.
Dale's in bed by 8:43 reading the Montel Williams book.
Mm-hmm.
They are officially growing up. Brennan, so grown up that he decides at work he wants to take on the Catalina wine mixer.
I want to make bank,
Whoa. Slow down, Speed Racer.
I want to get ass. I want to drive a Range Rover.
I'm ready. I'm walking tall.
Snapping necks, cashing checks.
If you mess with my nut, Randy is going to eat your dick. Like Kobayashi, says Derek. It's a win-win for Derek because if Brennan messes this up, he gets to fire his brother. If he pulls it off, he looks like a genius.
Yeah.
Pow! Pow! Catalina wine mixer comes. Nancy and Robert are both there. So the parents are brought back together thanks to the beautiful Catalina wine mixer. Randy says, I don't know what it is about your face. And Randy's played by Rob Riggles. I don't know what it is about your face, but I want to put one of these right in your sock hole. And Brennan goes, is there anything I can do to work on that? And it feels so corporate. Like
Yes.
Brennan's been taken down by the man.
Yeah, he has.
He is just a businessman
has
now.
been.
He's running the Catalina wine mixer, and even if someone wants to punch him in the face, he won't fight back. It is simply, how can I improve my performance? So sad.
It is sad.
So sad. Such a commentary on what life does to us,
It
sucking the
does,
fun and the joy
yeah.
out of the world. There is a performance by a band called Uptown Girl, which is California's preeminent 1980s Billy Joel cover band. The crowd says, Piano Man! He says, we don't play that!
Play something from Stranger! We strictly do 80s Joel only, sir.
That is all that they will do.
Horatio Sands, by the way.
Yes, Horatio Sands. The catering company that they use for the Catalina wine mixer is run by Dale. So suddenly you have Robert, Nancy, Brennan, and Dale all back in one place. Dale had to sell the night vision goggles to pay for car insurance, which, again, one of the sad signs of growing up and getting older. Brennan says, I did start taking baby aspirin to prevent my risk of having a heart attack. And then Dale says, you got to avoid the sweets. Small talk, laughter, hee hee hee, ha ha ha. And then he goes,
I love the baby
That's truly
aspirin.
a funny observation.
I love the baby aspirin.
I love the small talk.
Yeah.
I love how they depict adulthood just being the most boring, mind-numbing thing that all of us just latch onto because we have to. He says, we should do this again. Maybe go to an Outback Steakhouse.
I've become quite fond of that place.
I've become quite fond of that place. Again, the fans are asking for any Billy Joel that is popular. We didn't start the fire. And he goes, we strictly do the 80s. That's all we do. Brennan gets fired.
Take your skank hooker wife and get out of here.
The fans fight the Billy Joel cover band because they're not playing the hits, and Brennan gets fired because it causes a scene. And Derek says the Catalina wine mixer is ruined. You're Audi 5000, my friend.
Nobody says that anymore.
You're Audi 5000.
That was a thing back then.
It was.
Yeah, Audi 5000G or Audi 500G. Yeah, no, that is not a that is nobody.
Not a phrase anymore.
That phrase does not hold up. But it's funny to reminisce about.
It is still funny. And Robert and Dale are both with Brennan, and Dale asks if everything's okay, and Robert says it's fine. And Brennan's like, Robert, you don't get it. It's the Catalina wine mixer. And Robert goes into this beautiful monologue about how when he was a kid, he always wanted to be a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, more than anything in the world. He would make his arms short and would chase the neighborhood cats and dogs. And one day my dad said, you're 17. He said, stop being an effing dinosaur and get a job. So Robert went to medical school, thought he'd come back to it, but he forgot how. He lost it. He lost how to be a dinosaur. And his advice to the two boys is, don't lose your dinosaur.
Don't lose your dinosaur.
Don't lose your dinosaur. He just hates seeing them so crushed and normal. And Brennan's like, or Dale's like, I'm going to do what's sensible. I'm going to file for unemployment and try to get a job at an enterprise car rental. It's what one would do when you get fired. And instead, they get the band back together again. And Brennan and Dale get on stage. They sing. It starts with just Dale on the drums. And boats and hoes trying to do
and
it.
Everybody's
Dale
boning.
has a mangina.
Yeah, Dale has a mangina. It's back.
But when Brennan joins him and begins to sing Porti Voleri by Andrea Bocelli, the great opera song.
Had
one of the most
no idea
noteworthy-
Bocelli was blind until that happened one time live on the air. I had no idea
Really?
he was blind. Yeah. This is when Chris and I were on 92.9 and we were playing that song and I was watching the video and I was like, I go, what is going on with his eyes? And Chris goes, bro, he's blind. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know.
Yeah, he. I thought it was he was hit in the face with a football.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's fully. I think he has something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
Great song.
Great song. Iconic song that if people didn't know before, they know thanks to Beautiful Step Brothers. And it saves everything because everybody is entranced by Brennan and his voice being a mixture of Fergie and Jesus singing this great operatic song. And everyone's watching. Nancy and Robert are falling in love again. Alice is ready to risk it all for Dale. She has like this vision of them being a centaur and a woodland creature in her mind, and they are falling in love. Derek is remembering how much he loved his brother. They used to fly a kite together. The therapist has a vision of Brennan being a lumberjack and ravishing her.
I traveled 500 miles to give you my seed.
Exactly.
She goes, lumberjack.
And then Brennan goes, rock the F out of those drums, Dale. And everybody loves the Catalina wine mixer.
Yeah.
It is saved. It is the effing Catalina wine mixer. Derek doesn't want to kick Brennan in the head as much. They have a nice little family moment. They try to hug.
The hug is hysterical. It's so awkward.
The therapist shows up. Brennan calls her his girlfriend. She's like, again, you're not my girlfriend. And the mom goes, playing hard to get. Brennan told me he'd throw his body off a helicopter into shark waters, so I'm legally required to be here. And Nancy calls Nancy an enabler, which is perfect. These parents have been enabling these kids, specifically Nancy, more than anything. Dale breaks up with Alice. Alice is married with children, but they have a little breakup scene. And then it's 6 months later, and they're back at the dinner table, and Derek tries to talk about climbing Everest with Seal, and Robert's like, no, don't interrupt. We're learning about Brennan and Dale. So it's a flip of the dinner
Yeah,
scene that we
it
had
is.
earlier.
Total flip.
Robert wants to hear about their karaoke business. If you can't sing, just sit down. That's our motto, which should honestly be more karaoke's mottos across the world, I think. And there's a Christmas surprise for Dale and Brennan, and it's the boat in the tree, and they get a tree house that is now the boat that they once upon a time crashed. The Gilded Lady lives, and there are pirate hats and Hustler magazines and crossbows, and they're like, Dad, that's so thoughtful.
Okay, so a couple things here. Pirate hats, don't hold up. Nobody needs to be wearing pirate hats around anymore. Chewbacca masks, I think Chewbacca masks still work. Oh, they hold up.
I
They
think so,
hold up. Hustler magazines.
They're like vintage now.
They're vintage.
They're even more vintage
It's a collector's
now.
item. I think
Yeah.
holds up.
I think so.
I think it absolutely holds up.
I think
collector's
they're
items.
closer to art now.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. And then I would say, like, we are a gun country.
Bring back crossbows.
We should be
baby.
a crossbow country. Crossbows are cool. I don't think we would have this
Oh.
universal fight if we had crossbows.
I don't know. I am scarred by crossbows because in the Colorado driving school, like it's called Master Drive,
Yeah.
was the course that we took to get our license. And they show a video of a guy called the Crossbow Killer. And it was a road rage incident where someone had a crossbow in their trunk and they pulled out the crossbow and killed someone.
Oh my
and so
God.
I always think of how dangerous and deadly crossbows can be.
Crossbows are deadly. There's no doubt about that.
So-
If everybody was walking around
But
with
I
a
guess
crossbow,
the aim is a little harder.
the aim is
Like, you gotta be a little more
You gotta
skilled
really
with a
take
crossbow.
time. Yeah, you gotta take time with that.
I think you're right.
They're heavy too. Crossbows are heavy.
It might
I think a
solve
crossbow is
everything.
heavier than like a handgun.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone lives happily ever after.
Crossbows
Denise
are
is
still
there.
cool.
The therapist is now Brennan's girlfriend.
Said he can wear that out of that pirate
hat.
Yeah.
And the movie ends. You do get one extra scene in the credit, not in Bennett's extended version, but Brennan and Dale go back and beat up all the kids at the park.
They
and it's
do.
very funny to watch two grown men just beat the crap out of a group of kids.
Especially like because they're even hitting like little girls too.
Yes.
It's just like this is
Sticks
okay.
and stones may break my bones, but I'm gonna kick you repeatedly in the balls, Gardaki. And then at the very end, they walk away, and he goes, "Did you touch my drum set?" And it lives on forever. Overall, Step Brothers, would you say it's worth a rewatch?
Yes, 100%.
I would say it's worth a rewatch,
100%.
100%. It made me want to go back and rewatch a lot of movies from that time period, and I am very grateful to the people for voting on it. It'll be a much different theme next week when we're all crying. Rosa, if you want to come in, you're welcome to.
If it's Marley and Me,
It'll either be Forrest Gump, which is leading the way right now, Up, Marley and Me, or Hardball.
Nobody should ever have to watch Marley.
What's a
and
movie that
Me.
makes you cry? Every time.
Marley and Me. I watched it once and I bawled my eyes
I watched
out.
it on an airplane.
And I will not watch it. I will say the final scene of Rudy got me.
Oh.
When he gets to go out on the field and he's like waving his finger. I'm
hate-
like, let's freaking go.
I hate Rudy.
It's emotional. Why?
I just don't like it. I never liked Rudy.
Oh, God. You are.
But I should revisit it because now all these movies I
Yeah.
thought I was too cool for when I was a kid. Like I used to be like, I didn't cry in My Dog Skip. And I guarantee if I watched My Dog Skip today, I'd bawl
Yeah.
like a little baby.
Yeah, anything that involves an animal dying, like a dog, really. Like, I'm
Well.
not. Turner and Hooch. Like, I know. Like,
Yeah.
No.
Congrats,
What did
Roser.
the
I
dog do?
think you're involved in one of the longest shows we've had in a minute.
This is a long one.
We went long last week. Movies go
Movies
long.
will
It's
do that
okay.
too,
Thursday's
yeah.
the closest y'all are gonna get to a 2-hour show for a minute. So enjoy it. Gary Parrish is up next. Chris Vernon show at noon. We'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a Friday. Roser will wrap up the week with us. Lang Whitaker will join the show. We'll catch you up on everything you need to know. Enjoy the rest of your day. First day of summer. Get outside. Sweat your face off. You live in Memphis. We'll see you tomorrow.